Rio Tinto's Panguna mine on Bougainville casts a heavy shadow over the history and politics of the small island. Professor Matthew Allen from ANU says the mine played a key role in sparking the bloody civil war of the 90s, in which Bougainvillians revolted against the exploitation of their land by Rio Tinto and the PNG government.
The Panguna mine is extremely controversial. It was really central to the Bougainville conflict, the so-called Bougainville crisis.
Teresa Camelfield, who migrated to Australia during the early stages of the Civil War, has also seen the damage done firsthand.
They never cleaned up anything. They dumped all the rubbish.
The political turmoil which has hung over Brazil for months came to a head yesterday when the President Dilma Rousseff was impeached. The President of the Brazilian Community Council of Australia, Mausi Nascimento, says that Brazilian people in Australia are watching developments closely.
The community is very much divided over it. On the one hand, you've got people who think that it's very unfair what has been done to her, and they think that there were a lot of political motivations and all these kinds of things. They're calling it a coup and all these kinds of things. And you also have the ones who believe this was all done under the Constitution and it is a legitimate process.
Richard Azamo came to Australia in 2012, escaping the persecution of gay people in Nigeria, where he was in grave danger due to his work in HIV prevention. Last year, he was awarded the Young Achievers Award at Sydney's Honour Awards for his continued work combating HIV amongst Australia's Nigerian population and in the wider LGBTI community. With nominations now open for the 2016 Honour Awards, Richard says this is an important opportunity to recognise the hard work of people in the LGBTI community.
Ever since I moved to Australia and I've gotten involved in the sector, in the HIV sector, I see a lot of young people, even the older people as well, doing a lot of job, in our community, and that's a big deal.
The Makers and Shakers Market here in Melbourne is providing a space for emerging designers to showcase their ethical and sustainable designs.
Sustainability and ethics is really important to me, and I incorporate that in my selection process for sure.
There's more brands like Protocol Daughter coming up, representing where they're from, because if we don't take ownership of our culture, then it's just going to keep getting stolen.
This nature-loving couple, along with over 4,000 other Australians, have been poached as citizen scientists by Dr. Grania Cleary from Deakin University. Dr. Cleary is leading a nationwide study into the consequences of human interactions with native birds.
So what we're asking citizen scientists to tell us is, well, why do they feed birds? What do they get out of feeding birds? Are there particular birds that they're trying to attract to their garden? Are there particular birds they're trying to deter? Maybe introduce birds, maybe the likes of the noisy miner?
Dr. Cleary and her team don't want to stop Australians from feeding native birds, but wish to establish guidelines to enable them to do the right thing by the birds.